Next up is Jane Muir. Jane has served as the Associate Director for the University of Florida's Office for Technology Licensing for the past 12 years. Is that right? Okay, good. She manages the daily operations, marketing, and strategic outreach for the office with a focus on development of new programs and fostering strategic relationships that can enable the office to successfully transfer an active portfolio of more than 2,000 technologies to private sector partners for effective commercialization. What's keeping her busy these days is the fact that they were a recipient of $8.2 million in federal money from the Economic Development Administration for the construction of an innovation hub, an incubator located just blocks from the University of Florida. With a $5 million match from the university, this 50,000 square foot building will provide offices, labs, and other resources to startup companies commercializing research from Florida's universities. Jane, will you tell us all about Gainesville, the place where innovation is making a difference?
Thank you. Well, those of you who know me know that I love talking about all the really cool things that are happening here in our community to truly make Gainesville recognized as the place where innovation is making a difference. And it's not just people in Gainesville saying it, it's people all around the country who are talking about it. A lot of you read and are aware of the Richard Florida blog, where he projects that Gainesville, Florida will have the highest percentage of job growth of creative class jobs than any other city in the nation. That's pretty amazing. These creative class jobs are fueled by knowledge, ideas, new discoveries, and an ability to take advantage of those new discoveries and commercialize them. And we're obviously very fortunate to have a major research institution in our community that generates an average of 300 new discoveries every year. And we have a creative class that we're capturing to help us start 12 to 15 companies around these new discoveries every year. And these new discoveries are going to now have a new home in Innovation Square. Many of you have heard about Innovation Square. The vision is a 11-acre research park that will house these technology-based companies, and it is envisioned to build on the many building blocks that we already have going for us in the community. It is, as Brent said, just blocks from campus and blocks from downtown, and we envision this will be a research park which will be the home to many, many science and technology-based companies, not just the startups, but we intend to engage with many other high-tech companies that are already established companies and give them a presence in the square as well. Now, the Innovation Square is in the middle there. I don't know how well you can see that, but this is just one of a number of synergistic districts which have been identified in a comprehensive plan that the university has contracted Perkins and Will to develop. Many of you in the room have probably spoken to David Green and his staff as he was developing this comprehensive plan. And so you know that it's not just about the square, but what he's done is he's identified all of the things that have to come together to really turn this vision into a reality. And that includes the transportation, it includes education, it includes utilities, and many, many other things. Ed Popple, who a lot of you know, Ed, raise your hand. Ed is leading the charge on Innovation Square. And while I don't have time to go into a lot of detail, obviously we could spend hours talking about it because it is a comprehensive plan, but I'm sure that for those of you who want to know more of the details, Ed will be more than happy to provide those and have future conversations with you. Now, the square is going to be home to, as Brent said, the Florida Innovation Hub. Many of you who have driven by down Southwest 2nd Avenue may have seen this building coming out of the ground. And this building, in addition to being home to the Office of Technology Licensing, will serve as an incubator. Now, a lot of people don't know necessarily what an incubator is, but What's important about an incubator is it truly provides an innovation ecosystem. So these startup companies who are trying to get off the ground can come in and have everything that they need, all the support and services that they need to really enhance their ability to be successful and to expedite their success. And the National Business Incubator Association actually does surveys every year. And their statistics actually show that most startup companies, as a lot of you know, the success rate is 80% of all companies, startup companies, fail. But when you're in an incubator, 80% of all companies that got their start in an incubator 5 years later are still alive and kicking. So it's definite evidence of the value of an incubator. Now, what an incubator does, again, in addition to providing the space, there are shared facilities, so everybody has a receptionist, a professional-looking lobby, and by the way, this is pretty close to what ours is going to look like. They have all-inclusive leases, so when a startup company comes into the building, they don't have to worry about going to the utility company, going to get their internet hooked up, purchasing their furniture, buying their office equipment. It's all there. And we've planned it in such a way that as these companies grow, we're going to lease the space so that the space next to them is empty, at least temporarily, so that they have room to expand. The building will have on the second floor dry labs, and on the third floor wet labs with fume hoods. It's a multi-use facility. We're trying to accommodate as many different types of startup companies as possible. And there will be access to, anybody who's in the building will have a Gator 1 card, which means they'll have access to a lot of resources, including the university library, which if you're a startup company and you're trying to do work about who is your competition, your people that you can leverage, etc., library is just a wealth of good information. In addition, we have a small amount of space that we are leasing to service providers. These service providers are complementary to the tenants in the building. We have a couple of law firms, we have a couple of venture capital firms, an accounting firm, etc. And as part of their lease, they're going to be required to provide pro bono service, a limited number of hours of pro bono service to the companies in the building. We've got state-of-the-art high-speed data and telecom. There will be weekly programs in the building to help educate these young and not so young entrepreneurs about all aspects of starting a company. We actually have a mantra in our office. We're going to be doing 50 events in 50 weeks. So wow, tell me about it. We're in the very active stages of planning those events. If some of you would like to help put on some of those events and you think you've got topics that would be of interest and helpful to our companies in the building, please by all means talk to us. When people sometimes they say, well, startup companies, but that's just small time. They don't employ that many people. Well, these companies start small, but I can tell you our startups over the past decade, we have worked with startups, and the number of jobs that they've created in 8 years is 800 high-tech jobs. So now some of them stay small, some of them get big, but the reality in the state of Florida is that 99% of all the companies have less than 100 employees. That being said, Secretary of Commerce Gary Locke has stated that everybody knows all net new jobs are going to come from those new startup companies. Just some interesting statistics here from Florida Trend. And so I hope that I've shared enough with you to get you excited, to really appreciate that the stars are truly aligning in our community to make some really cool things happen. It's going to take a while. This isn't going to happen overnight. A comprehensive plan, I believe, projects 10 to 15 years out for the entire square. And so we're going to need support from a lot of people in a lot of different areas of the community. But the good news is, we truly are using innovation in our community to transform our future. And we are a community that is really going to make cool things happen.